It was a cold, rainy night. The street outside was quiet. Not a single car passed. Only the sound of thunder and falling rain filled the air. Inside his small house, Daniel, a 29-year-old man, sat alone on his couch, reading a book. He lived outside the city, far from neighbors, in a peaceful place. But tonight, peace would break. At exactly 12:07 a.m. He heard a knock. Knock, knock, knock. He looked up. Strange, he wasn't expecting anyone. And at this time? It could be a mistake. Maybe someone lost in the storm. He got up and walked slowly to the front door. The rain hit the windows like sharp fingers. Again, call on, knock, knock. But this time, softer, almost like someone had no strength. Daniel hesitated. His hand stopped just before the doorknob. He looked through the peephole. Nothing. He opened the door. A woman stood there, but she didn't look normal. Her skin was light blue, her eyes big and dark. Her face was tired, wet, and covered with small wounds. She wore a strange silver suit torn in many places. She was breathing heavily. Behind her, two small children. Twins. They were shaking, holding her arms. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dark. They looked afraid, but quiet. Daniel didn't know what to say. Was this a joke? A costume? A film shoot? The woman looked at him and spoke. Please, help, no time, they follow. Her voice was weak, but her fear was real. Daniel stepped back. Come inside. She nodded and fell forward. He caught her before she hit the ground. She was cold. Very cold. He quickly brought them in and shut the door. The twins stayed close to their mother. They didn't speak, but their eyes kept watching Daniel, like they were studying him. He placed the woman on the couch. She was unconscious now. He ran to the kitchen, brought a blanket, and covered her. Then he gave towels to the kids. They took them, still silent. Daniel looked at them carefully. They were clearly not human. Their faces had small markings. Their hands had only 3 fingers each, yet they looked so innocent. So tired that he whispered, Who are you people? One of the twins looked at him, and Daniel heard a voice inside his own head. She is our mother. She is good. Don't be afraid. Daniel stepped back in shock. Did you just speak inside my head? The child nodded. He sat down slowly. His heart was racing. This was real. This was not a dream. Suddenly, the room's lights flickered. The power dropped for a second. Daniel looked outside through the window. Something was moving near the trees. He saw a shadow, tall, thin, and fast. Stay here, he whispered to the twins. He grabbed a flashlight and walked to the back window. He turned off the lights in the house to see better. Nothing. Just trees, rain, and fog. Then, in a flash of lightning, he saw it. A metallic figure, floating like a drone. But not made by humans. It was scanning, searching. It passed near his fence, then stopped. Right in front of the house. Daniel turned back to the kids. Downstairs, now, he guided them into his basement. It wasn't much, just storage and old furniture, but it was safe. He locked the door behind them and returned to the living room. The woman was awake now, barely. Her eyes met his. They will not stop. I ran far. Earth was my last hope. You are the first human who listened. Daniel knelt beside her. Who's after you? She coughed. Hunters, not from my world. They want my children. They carry something special. Daniel didn't understand everything, but he knew one thing. This family was in danger. And now, so was he. He heard another sound, a soft mechanical hum. Just outside the front door, he stood up slowly and reached for his phone. No signal. He was cut off. He turned to the woman. Why me? She looked into his eyes. Because you still have heart. That's why they will fear you. Then she fainted. Again. The knocking returned, but this time it wasn't soft. It was heavy, metallic. Boom, boom, boom. Daniel stood in the center of the room, soaking in everything. An alien mother, 2 psychic kids, something hunting them, and now it had arrived. What had he just brought into his home? Whatever it was, it had already begun. The night hadn't ended yet. Daniel sat beside the strange woman. Now unconscious again, the twins were downstairs, resting under blankets. He didn't sleep. He COULDN single quotes did. How do you sleep when aliens are hiding in your basement? The storm outside had calmed, but Daniel's mind was louder than thunder. That voice in his head, so soft, so clear. One of the children had spoken directly into his thoughts. He kept hearing the words, "She is our mother. She is good. Don't be afraid." He looked at her face now. Even with her blue skin and strange markings, she looked peaceful, protective, like a real mother, but not from Earth. Daniel stood up and started pacing. He needed answers. He noticed something near the couch, a small, round metal object like a tiny sphere. He picked it up carefully. It felt warm, alive, almost. As he held it, the sphere lit up and floated slightly from his hand. A hologram appeared projected. In mid-air, it showed stars, thousands of them, then a map. A complex diagram with moving planets, blinking lights, and strange symbols. One planet turned red and faded away. Another was circled in white. It looked like Earth. Daniel whispered to himself, "What is this?" Suddenly, the sphere shut off and dropped into his hand again. From the basement, he heard small footsteps. One of the twins appeared on the stairs, holding a cup of water. The child offered it to Daniel and said softly, "You're afraid." Daniel nodded. "Yes, shouldn't I be?" The child looked up at him. "Fear is normal, but you still helped. That's rare." Daniel tried to smile, but it came out awkward. "You speak well. We learn fast," the twin replied, then walked over to their mother and sat by her side. Daniel sat down again. "Why are you here? Why Earth?" The child didn't answer right away. Then, in a quiet voice, said, "They destroyed our world. Not just buildings, everything, trees, oceans, light, gone." "Who did?" The child looked toward the door. "Hunters. Machines without soul. They chase knowledge, not peace. Our mother. She carries the last of what our people knew. It's inside her and us." Daniel leaned forward. "So they're here for that knowledge?" The child nodded. Daniel rubbed his face. This was big. Too big for one man. But somehow he was part of it now. The woman stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. "The sphere, did you touch it?" Daniel showed it to her. She nodded weakly. "It showed you the end of my world." "Yeah," Daniel replied. "And Earth is next?" "Maybe," she whispered. "If they find us, Earth is simple. Unready. But if they take us, they will come." Daniel's thoughts raced. "So, what do we do? Call someone? NASA? The army?" She smiled slightly. "Your army won't believe, and if they did, they would take my children away." He was silent, then said, "You can stay here, but it's not safe." "That thing outside? It knew." The woman nodded. "It sent signal. They know I'm on this planet. We don't have much time." "Who are you?" he asked. "Really?" She took a deep breath. "I was a scientist, a builder. My job was to protect memory, everything we ever learned. When the war started, I was given a mission: run. Carry the last codes, keep them safe." She looked at the children. "They are more than my children. They are keys." Daniel stared at them, confused. "Keys to what?" The woman pointed to the sphere. "To restart life. To teach again. To rebuild." Daniel stood up. "Then we have to get you somewhere safer." "There is a place," she said slowly. "Your people built it long ago, a base, hidden, far from cities. They worked with us, in secret." Daniel frowned. "Wait, humans and aliens worked together?" She nodded. "Before the war, before your time, there were a few trusted ones. They created a shelter. For moments like this. Where is it?" She lifted her arm and tapped a small square on her wrist. A soft beep came. Then a glowing map appeared in the air. It showed a location. Daniel stared. "That's 200 miles from here, in the mountains." The woman looked into his eyes. "We need to go, soon. If they send more, this house won't stop them." Daniel looked around his small home. His safe, quiet life was gone. He sighed. "I'll take you." Suddenly, crack. The power went out completely. Total darkness. Then The sound, a metallic scraping across the roof. The child grabbed Daniel's hand. They're close. Daniel moved quickly. He grabbed a flashlight and his car keys. Everyone to the basement. We're not staying here tonight. As he guided them down, his heart pounded. Not in fear now, but in purpose. He had no idea where this road would lead, but he knew one thing for sure. They were not from Earth, and now they were his responsibility. The road was silent. Daniel drove fast, his old truck bouncing on the wet road. Rain had stopped, but the night was thick with fog. In the back seat sat the alien mother, holding her sleeping twins close. Her breathing was slow but weak. They were leaving everything behind. Daniel's house, his books, his quiet life. Now he had a map, 2 children who could speak in thoughts, and a dying alien mother, all heading toward a secret base in the mountains. Built by humans and aliens decades ago. It sounded insane, but every second reminded him this was real. Suddenly, the twin on the left opened his eyes. They're coming, the child said. In Daniel's mind, Daniel gripped the wheel tighter. How close? The child pointed to the sky behind them. Daniel looked in the mirror. At first, nothing. Just darkness. Then, a distant light. Floating, growing, moving fast. A second light appeared. Then a third. Daniel pressed the gas. The mother opened her eyes for a moment and whispered, "They found us." 10 minutes later, Daniel turned off the main road and onto a muddy trail. Trees closed in around them. His GPS stopped working, but the glowing map from her wrist still guided them forward. They're not using satellites, he thought. Their tech is beyond ours. The truck hit a bump, and something metal clanged underneath. We can't outrun them forever, Daniel muttered. They don't want speed, the mother said faintly. They want silence. No noise, no questions. If we disappear, no one will ask? Daniel looked at her. But I will ask, she smiled weakly. That's why I chose you. Suddenly, a bright light flashed through the forest. Then another. The truck's engine made a strange noise. Then it died. Everything went silent. Daniel tried to restart it. Nothing. The forest around them lit up again, blue lights sweeping through. Trees like search beams. They've jammed the system, the mother said. We run, Daniel said, already grabbing the twins. Take only what we need. She pointed to a small metallic box near her feet. This holds the code. Without it, my children are just children. Daniel nodded. He carried one twin. The mother took the other, weakly. They moved into the forest, leaves crunching under their feet. Behind them, something landed, not with a boom, but a hum, mechanical, cold. They moved fast through the forest. The glowing map showed a cave up ahead, part of the old hidden base. We're close, the mother whispered, but so were the hunters. A sound came from behind a mechanical growl. Not animal, not human. A shape appeared behind the trees, thin, tall, its head spun silently, scanning. Daniel held his breath. The twins stayed completely still. The creature moved past them, then stopped. Its head turned slowly toward them. The mother closed her eyes and whispered something in a strange language. The box in Daniel's hand vibrated. Suddenly, a small burst of light flashed, blinding white. The creature froze. Its sensors overloaded. It turned and walked in the wrong direction. What was that? Daniel whispered. A memory glitch, she said. Temporary. It won't last. They ran. Finally, the cave came into view. A large rock wall with strange lines across it, like old carvings. The twins reached out and touched the wall. A soft glow appeared where their hands touched. The rock split slowly, quietly, and opened into darkness. Daniel stepped inside. The walls were metal. Ancient but strong. Lights turned on as they entered. Soft blue, dusty, unused for years. This is it, the mother said. This place was built before your wars, when humans still listened to the stars. They walked deeper into the base. A central room appeared, filled with old machines and consoles. One still blinked with a green light. The mother sat down. Finally, she could rest. Daniel turned to her. Why are they really after you? She looked at her children, then at Daniel. My people believed in peace, but we learned too much. Knowledge became danger. The hunters were once protectors. But they turned. They now erase what they don't understand. Daniel clenched his fists. So they destroy anything that scares them. They will not stop. Not unless we give them a reason. Suddenly, the walls shook. A sharp, piercing sound rang through the air. They found us. The mother said. Daniel ran to the console. What do I do? She pointed to a lever. Seal the door. He pulled it. The rock wall slid shut. Just as the shadows outside reached the entrance, for now, they were safe, but not for long. One of the twins walked up to Daniel. You are not like others. He smiled, tired. I was just fixing my truck last week. Now I'm saving the galaxy. The child touched his arm. A flash of memory entered Daniel's mind. Stars, worlds, his own father, younger. Standing beside aliens. Daniel gasped. What was that? The child said, Your father knew us. He helped build this place. Daniel stepped back. What? The mother looked up. It's no accident you found us. This is your legacy too. Before Daniel could speak, a voice echoed through the base. Surrender. Return the codes or Earth will burn. Daniel stood in the center of the room. His home was gone. The forest was full of enemies. But in this moment, he felt more alive than ever. He looked at the twins. No one's burning Earth. Not on my watch. Silence had weight now. Inside the hidden base. The air was still, but the tension was sharp, like a wire ready to snap. Daniel stood near the sealed entrance, still hearing that voice echoing through the walls. Surrender. Return the codes or Earth will burn. He turned to the alien mother. She looked weaker than before. Her skin had turned pale blue, her eyes half closed. The twins stood on either side of her, quiet, alert. What do they mean by burn? Daniel asked. The mother spoke slowly. If we don't give them the memory, core, they will destroy your planet, not all at once. But in pieces, quietly, they will shut down your systems, crash your satellites, poison your air. People will blame each other, then forget we ever came. Daniel's heart beat faster. That's already started, isn't it? She nodded. Your world is already cracked. They will just push harder. Daniel clenched his fists. So, we run? The mother shook her head. No, we move. There's a difference. We don't run like prey. We protect like guardians. One of the twins suddenly pointed to a wall. A soft line of blue light glowed across the floor, leading to a door they hadn't seen before. Daniel followed the trail, reached the panel, and pushed it open. The room inside was cold and silver. In the center stood something unexpected, a ship, sleek, quiet, dusty, but powerful. It had no wings. Just curves and smooth metal, as if it had been grown, not built. This thing flies? Daniel asked. The mother smiled faintly. It was made to fly without being seen, without being heard. This is not for war, it's for escape. And hope? Daniel walked slowly around it. Can I fly it? You won't need to, the mother replied. It recognizes soul prints. You only need to be willing. Daniel looked at her. And you? Can you make it? She touched the twins' hands. No, I'll stay behind. His eyes widened. No, you're coming with us. She shook her head. I'm slowing you down. I can't protect them anymore, but you can. Daniel's voice cracked. I don't know what I'm doing. She placed the silver memory box into his hands. Neither did I, but I learned. So will you? The room trembled slightly. Dust fell from the ceiling. They're breaking through, the mother whispered. Suddenly, the lights inside the ship blinked on. A soft hum filled the air. The ship was waking up. Daniel looked at the children. They weren't afraid anymore. One of them turned to him and said in his mind, She's telling the truth. You're the one now. Daniel took a deep breath, then turned to the mother. I'll bring them somewhere safe, I swear. She gave a long, tired smile. That's all a mother wants. The outer wall groaned loudly. Hunters were inside the base. Daniel moved fast. He opened the hatch, helped the twins inside, then climbed in himself. The ship responded to his touch, panels lighting up. The memory box locked itself into a glowing slot. A soft female voice spoke in his head. Soul print. Accepted. Destination. Off-world jump initiated. Engines online. Outside, the hallway lights burst. Shadows filled the entrance. Metallic figures marched in tall, faceless, silent. They saw the mother. One of them raised its arm. She stood, weak but proud. You lost your soul the day you chose silence over truth, she whispered. Then the room burst into white light inside the ship. Daniel shielded the twins as the ship began to rise. The base roof opened like petals of a flower. The night sky appeared, clouds parting as if the stars were watching. Daniel looked out the small rear window. The base behind them was gone. Nothing remained. The ship moved without sound, cutting through the air like a shadow. A glow formed around them. Where are we going? Daniel asked. The ship replied, following archive coordinates. Link to Earth, 1974, Project Starbridge, mission restart. Daniel blinked. Project what? The twins sat beside him. One of them held his hand. You're not just helping us, the child said. You're finishing what your father started. Daniel stared forward, unsure what was waiting beyond Earth. But knowing this, his life would never return to normal. And that wasn't a bad thing. Far below, on Earth, a tall figure stepped from the burning ruins of the base, one of the hunters. Its head turned toward the stars. Its eyes glowed red. The ship had escaped, but not for long. The stars stretched out. Like quiet watchers, Daniel sat in the pilot's seat of the alien ship, staring into space. Earth was now a blue marble behind them, growing smaller with every second. Beside him, the twins slept peacefully, curled up like children after a storm. But Daniel couldn't sleep. His hands trembled on the armrest. His thoughts were racing. Not long ago, he was fixing a leaky sink. Now, he was flying through space with two alien kids whose mother had died to protect them, and a memory box that could restart an entire civilization. And worst of all, he was being hunted. A soft chime echoed through the ship. Approaching destination, Deep Node 7. Daniel sat up. Where is that? The ship answered with calm clarity. Human alien. Joint outpost. Hidden since 1974. Last access. James Caldwell. Daniel froze. James Caldwell. That's my father. The twins looked up. One of them said quietly, It's time you remembered. Daniel whispered, I don't understand. The ship slowed as it neared a dark asteroid field. Hidden among the rocks, a massive door unfolded like a secret waiting to be found. The ship glided inside. It was a space station, but not like the ones humans built. It was part metal, part crystal. The walls looked like they breathed. Blue lights pulsed like heartbeats. As the ship docked, Daniel stood slowly, holding the memory box. The twins walked silently behind him. The hatch opened, and what greeted them was silence. The station was still alive, but empty. Lights blinked, machines hummed, but no voices. No people. Then, the wall in front of them lit up. A face appeared, a recording, human. It was a man in his 40s, gray eyes. Calm voice. Daniel stepped closer. His breath caught. It was his father. If you're seeing this, the man said, then it means the hunters have returned, and my son, you found your way here. The twins stood beside Daniel, watching. I worked with the Ari people long before the war, the recording continued. We built this station to protect what mattered, truth, history, the peaceful future we dreamed of. But peace was broken. Daniel whispered, You knew all this, and never told me? The image of his father kept speaking. Your mother thought I disappeared. She didn't know the truth. I had to stay hidden. This mission wasn't just survival, it was legacy. The recording paused. Double quote, son, if you're carrying the memory core. Then you hold the last copy of what the Ari civilization ever learned. If the hunters take it, they won't just erase the past. They'll erase the future. Daniel tightened his grip on the silver box. There's something deeper in this station, his father said. A seed, buried, hidden where only a true protector can go. You'll know it when you feel it. The screen faded. Silence again. Daniel stood frozen, emotions storming inside him, loss, confusion, pressure. All at once, one of the twins touched his arm. You are ready. Even if you don't feel it, he nodded. Then let's find it. They explored the station together, room by room. There were old chambers with star charts, science labs with alien symbols, even a garden growing without sunlight. The place had been waiting for decades. Then they found the chamber. The door opened only when the twins placed their hands together. Inside was a large circular room. In the center, a platform. On it, a crystal. Not just any crystal. It pulsed with living light. It responded as Daniel stepped closer. The memory box in his hands floated up. Drawn to the crystal. It locked into place. A wave of light passed through the station. The walls lit up. Machines powered on. Suddenly, it was no longer a ghost station. It was awake. And Daniel was part of it. But across the galaxy, others felt the pulse too. Inside a massive Hunter mothership, lights flashed red. One of the Hunter commanders raised its head. The core has been activated. Another voice replied, metallic and cruel. Then the boy has made his choice. We end it now. Coordinates locked. Weapons charged. Earth was no longer the only target. Back at the station, Daniel stood quietly in the now glowing chamber. The ship behind him had merged with the station. He turned to the twins. What happens now? One of them smiled. You don't just protect us anymore. You lead us. Daniel's chest rose and fell slowly. I'm not a hero. You are, the other said. Because you stayed when it was easier to run. He looked around this place his father helped build, this legacy he didn't ask for, but had now accepted. Then a new voice echoed through the station. A warning. Hunter vessel detected. Time to impact. 47 minutes. Daniel looked at the children. Then at the crystal glowing before him. He wasn't just carrying the future anymore. Now he had to fight for it. Time was running out. Inside Deep Node 7, alarms pulsed softly. Red rings circled a holographic map. A Hunter warship was closing in fast. Less than 40 minutes remained. Daniel stood in the command center, gripping the edge of the console. His mind was racing. He wasn't trained for this. He had no weapons, no army. Just a memory core, a half-dead space station. And two alien children looking up to him, like he was more than just a man, but maybe that's what he had become. The twins stood near the glowing crystal, their hands resting lightly on it. The memory core Daniel had carried was now fully merged with the station, and something was changing. The walls of the station were no longer silent. Symbols began to appear, alien scripts glowing softly, machines powered on. A long-forgotten energy hummed through the floor. Daniel turned to the twins. Can this place defend itself? One of them nodded. Yes, but it needs direction. Daniel walked to the center platform. Then let's wake it all up. He placed his hand on the crystal. Suddenly, light shot across the walls. A voice, ancient and female, spoke from everywhere at once. Core confirmed. Command linked, initiating defense protocol, last stand. The floor beneath them shook slightly. Doors opened. Mechanical arms moved. From hidden panels came long dormant machines. Not weapons, but guardians. Drones, orbs, shields built for protection, not war. Still, they might be enough. Daniel explored the control room, now fully lit. He tapped into the holographic screen. It showed the Hunter ship, sleek, black, alive-looking. Twice the size of the station, covered in red lights. It had no windows, no engines. Just motion like a predator sliding through water. Can we outrun it? He asked. The station answered, no, exit path blocked. Power rerouted to defense. Then we fight, he whispered. Down in the ship bay, Daniel suited up. The station had given him a uniform, alien in design, but shaped for him. It glowed faintly, matching his body's rhythm. The twins helped him adjust the arm nodes. One of them said, this suit is linked to the command core. It will protect you. And listen. Daniel looked down. It will listen? The other twin placed a hand over his heart. To your choices? Daniel exhaled. Then let's make the right ones. The station darkened for a moment. Then the Hunter ship arrived. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just hovered, massive, silent, cold. Then a voice filled the room, not from the speakers, not from the air. But from inside Daniel's mind, give us the memory, give us the twins. And you may live, Daniel gritted his teeth. You murdered their mother, you destroyed their world. We removed chaos. We preserved order. Their kind were too curious. You mean too free? Your race will follow, slowly, quietly, or not at all. Daniel stepped forward. You don't get to decide that anymore. The battle began without warning, the hunter ship released. Dozens of shadow-like drones. They moved like insects, fast, silent, sharp, but the station was ready. A shield dome formed around the exterior. Defense bots launched. Lights blazed across the structure. Old tech woke with new purpose. Inside, Daniel stood at the center of the command deck, directing the response with his voice and his mind. The twins stood beside the crystal, adding strength. And their presence made the station even faster. The fight wasn't just outside, it was digital, mental, spiritual. The hunters tried to hack the core. The twins fought back not with weapons, but with memories. They flooded the systems with the beauty of their lost world fields, songs, stories. The hunters grew unstable, but the enemy adapted. One drone broke through. It entered the station, slicing through the outer hull. It moved like a shadow, silent and deadly. Daniel faced it alone in the hallway. His suit pulsed with light. As the drone lunged, it moved fast. But Daniel's mind was faster now. The suit reacted, forming a glowing shield just in time. He fought back, not just with fists, but with will. Every memory of the mother's sacrifice, every word his father had recorded, every moment since that knock at midnight, gave him strength. The drone fell, but more would come. Back in the core room, the twins trembled. They're trying to break the crystal, one said. Daniel returned, limping. What happens if they do? Everything ends, the other whispered. Daniel looked at the platform. The crystal now glowed like a heartbeat on fire. The station's voice spoke. Again, critical choice required. Overload core to destroy invaders. Warning will erase this station. Total loss of memory. Daniel stared at the message. Destroy the hunters, but lose the knowledge. The twins looked up at him. We're ready, if you are. Daniel closed his eyes, then opened them. No, he said. We protect both. He walked to the control node and reached into the interface. He sent out a signal, not of war, but of light. The station responded with a final burst, one that wrapped the entire area in a pulse of memory and identity. Not a weapon. A message. The hunters paused. For the first time. They hesitated. Some turned and retreated. Some collapsed, overwhelmed by the very thing they feared. Understanding, the ship pulled back. Wounded, the invasion stopped. Silence returned. Daniel fell to his knees. The twins ran to him, helping him up. You did it, one said. Daniel shook his head. We did it. The station was damaged, but alive. The knowledge had been saved, and Earth was safe. For now. Above, the stars still watched, but tonight, one of them was shining brighter. A father would have been proud, and a new protector had been born. Silence filled the station, not the kind that follows fear, but the kind that comes after survival. Deep, Node 7 floated quietly among the stars, damaged but still alive. The walls no longer blinked with warnings. The enemy was gone. The memory core was safe. The world had not burned, and yet, nothing felt the same. Daniel sat alone in the main chamber, looking out through a wide window. Earth was still far away, a small glowing orb in the dark. So familiar, so fragile, he didn't know if he could ever return. Behind him, soft footsteps echoed. The twins entered, dressed in clean robes from the station's storage. They looked calm now, their skin glowing with warmth instead of fear. One of them walked to Daniel and asked, Are we going back to Earth? Daniel didn't answer right away. He looked at his reflection in the glass. He had changed. His eyes carried something heavier now, a responsibility, loss, strength. Do you want to go back? He asked them. The other twin replied, That world isn't ready. Not yet, Daniel nodded. I was born there, but right now, this place feels more honest. They sat beside him. Together they stared into space. Later, Daniel explored parts of the station he hadn't seen before. One hallway led him to a sealed room. The door opened when he placed his hand on it. Inside was a garden, small, simple, trees with soft white leaves, a quiet waterfall that made no sound. In the middle stood a statue made of crystal. Two figures, a human and Aari side by side. Daniel stepped forward. The plaque beneath the statue read, "Together we remembered." His father's voice echoed in his mind. "You won't just carry the future, you'll shape it." Daniel whispered, "Maybe you were right." The station's voice returned after many hours of silence. Core stabilization complete. System now fully functional, awaiting next command. Daniel stood in the command deck. He had choices now. Big ones. He could return to Earth, he could hide, or he could build. He turned to the twins. "What would your mother have done?" One of them smiled softly. "She would have shared." Daniel nodded. "Then we do the same." He walked to the control panel. "Station, open long-range channels." "Send a message," the voice responded. "Message ready?" "Speak when ready." Daniel took a breath, then began, "This is Daniel Caldwell, human, protector. I'm speaking from deep. Node 7, a joint outpost created by both our kinds. We survived something powerful, something that tried to erase history, but we didn't let it win. If you are out there, if you are peaceful, if you are listening, you're not alone anymore. Come find us. The future is still possible." He stopped, let the silence settle, then gave one final command. "Send it." The signal traveled out like a ripple in the dark. It would take time, but someone, somewhere, would hear it, and maybe they would come. A few days passed. Daniel and the twins worked together to repair the garden, clean the hallways, and relearn the systems. They studied what was left of the airy knowledge. There were millions of files, music, language, science, stories. The twins taught him their favorite song from their home world, a melody with no words but full of meaning. It echoed softly through the station corridors, bringing a strange peace Daniel hadn't felt in years. One evening, Daniel stood in the hangar. A small ship was ready, not for war, but for journeys. The twins joined him. "Where will we go first?" One of them asked. Daniel smiled. "Anywhere that needs hope." They climbed aboard. As the ship lifted off the station floor, Daniel looked back at Deep Node 7. The lights on its surface pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat, not an ending, a beginning. Far away, on a world of ash and steel, a group of rogue hunters watched the signal Daniel had sent. One turned to the others. "This one fights different," it said. "He remembers." Another replied, "Then others will remember too." For the first time in many years. They paused. Not in fear, in doubt. Back in the stars, Daniel's ship flew quietly through the dark. No banners, no armies, just a man and two children, carrying the light of a lost world, sharing it, protecting it, becoming something more than human, becoming something worth remembering.